absolute pleasure to have you here. Okay, so I'm going to go straight on to the next speaker. I'm sorry that we're kind of rushing things through a little bit, but we don't want to keep you all. We're on schedule though. I've opened some windows to let them in.
Yeah, go on.
The next speaker that I want to introduce is another devout Christian, another brother of mine, brother in Christ, and he's a man that's not been scared to preach, tell people, you know, we need Jesus, we need God, we need to promote Christianity for this country to be saved. And do you know what? That's quite a difficult thing to do. And whether you're a Christian or not, I'm not trying to Bible bash you up. I'll do that later though. I will.
No, and she will as well. I know you will.
Andy knows I will. But yeah, this man's just completely fearless. And he comes out and he talks about things that, you know, some people you wouldn't even think of. He has angles on issues that you would never even dream up. And he ties the establishment, he ties the police, he ties the social services and the councils up in knots. When he goes and confronts them on issues and says, actually, you know what, I put your number on that. He's a fantastic public speaker. Yeah. And he's done a huge amount of activism for this cause. And you know, Jesus himself said, when 2 or 3 gather in my name, I am there with you. And whenever I'm in this man's company, I know that he at least makes up the second and Christ is with us. Please put your hands together for my dear friend, John Banksy Britain.
John Banksy! Banksy! Getting famous, John.
I've written about 4 speeches this week, and every time I write it out, something else bloody happens. So this is even now mixed up. From Northern Ireland, you're trying to forecast the problems that are coming down your way. Well, I was in Sheffield Crown Court yesterday, confronting 11 Muslim grooming gangs. Their case started in 1998, 20 years ago, before we've initially got them in court. They're on bail till next November, so we've still got another 12 months on the street. How many women have them men abused between the 20 years that they've been on the streets in this country? Keep your people's eyes open, because this is ongoing and it's going to come to your province. Now, while Jada and Uncle Donald putting the cat amongst the pigeons, I didn't know anything about it. In fact, it was Andy who told me in the evening. I was at the UK Security Expo in London. And I went to the lectures and I watched the people on their pay packets and expenses spending shitloads of money on bollards and safety things and cameras and lectures on this, that and the other, and how they're going to beat Islam. And one of the lectures was by a security expert. He protects property in London. And one of his major property sites is right next to Borough Market. And when I asked him what his security was doing for the local store just down the street, this ex-senior police officer said, he didn't want to be flippant, but it's nothing to do with him, it's not his job. The rich are building their gated communities to live in safety, while we have our kids raped, blown up, acid attacks, stabbing attacks, growing violence on our streets, and it's got to stop!
Yes! Go on, Banksy!
There's something else that was said earlier on, how far does what we do, what's the range of what we do? And I was, when you said that, it suddenly popped into my mind. I was in another lecture at this UK Security Expo. It was an ex-FBI agent, Harold Suthers, now a security advisor, in a room full to the rafters with aviation security experts. And I asked him, being as everybody is trying to protect themselves from risk, would it be a big risk reduction strategy to realise Islam is at war with us?
Wow.
Yes.
So that went down well.
And I've got it on tape.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Now, this is an Obama FBI agent. He refuses flat blank to categorise Islam as an issue. And as a black American, he says the far right are the issue. Now this is the FBI that is preaching that, broadly speaking, is saying the white European is the enemy of everybody else on the planet. And we're not. But we do want our homeland to be safe.
Yeah.
Diane Abbott, steeped in the postmodernist definition of what racism is, of power and function, that's the FBI man. And through the entire 2 days that I was there, on a presentation, a security expo, broadly speaking, let's not think about the bush. The terrorism in this country is Islamic.
Yeah.
And nobody was saying it. Nobody, in fact, there were shitloads of Muslims in it. So, few weeks ago, before the Tory Party conference, I sent 5 senior government ministers, including Theresa May, Amber Rudd, Michael Gove, Boris Johnson. I sent them copies of the James Dewar Google memo. Now, if anybody's actually checked that out, it's well worth studying it, because it talks about all sorts of different subjects. And despite having this memo sent to her, Theresa May at the Tory Party conference said that she was going to close the gender pay gap. Now, the gender pay gap is non-existent. It is illegal, certainly in Britain, America, and I would imagine across Europe, to pay a man different to a woman. There is differences in what men and women are capable of and or want to do. One lady said to me in Belfast that her mother had 2 jobs. Bring up the kids, keep the house clean. Now they've got So bring the kids up, keep the house clean and earn a wage.
Yep.
That's what progressive politics have done to women in this country.
Yep.
It hasn't freed them up. In fact, women, all studies show that women are now more unhappy than they were 50 years ago. And let's talk about things like that. Now, I'm going to turn that one over for you.
I'm with you, Banksy, you know I am.
Yeah, let's go to average IQs. Average IQs. Women tend to congregate around the middle. So at the very high end of IQs, there's more men than women. And that's why the CEOs tend to be men. Women should not be barred from there because they might have a lot to say and even further down the chain. And you can prove that centralisation already because down at the thick end, there's far more men than women. Yeah. And we go to prison a lot more. So it's evidence. The average IQ with the bell curve needs proper scientific research going on it because at the moment it is on thin ice and it needs a proper looking at it. There's no such thing as white privilege. In Britain, if you obey English common law and you have a bit of luck and a little bit of IQ, you tend to get along and you tend to, well, stay out of the mire. That's enough. Staying off the streets is a big advantage. And Western civilization, from America to Canada to Australia, New Zealand, is based on English common law. Based in the Magna Carta of 1215, where the case law is built up until we know what we've got to do and how we've got to behave. And English common law is based on the truth. It's not based on feelings. If the truth hurts your feelings, tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get over it.
The leftists try to claim that hierarchies are a product of sexist, racist patriarchies, but they're not. The standard hierarchy comes from intelligent, committed people working their arse off 70 odd hours a week, and they just happen to be mostly men. In the middle, you've got your nurses, your doctors, and everybody else. Right on that tip. That's where, and we want them people out there. We don't need to change very intelligent men for average women, because we want to tax the arse off these buggers. You get it? Yeah. We want them out there working, because the people who invent the telephone improve our life, and they make a shitload of money out of making that telephone, but it improves everybody's life. And when they improve it and slim it down a bit, we get a little bit richer, they get very rich. But there's only a few of them, the 1%. Their wealth only lasts 2 or 3 generations, and it's gone. The grandson pisses it up against the wall, or he gambles it away at the toss of the coin. So although the 1% are always with us, they're never always the same. They're always churning over. In fact, on average, one in 20 of us has got an opportunity to be in the 1% for 1 year of your life. You have a good day in the shop, you sell a shitload of cars. And that's the way that the James Damore memo explains a lot of things, how humanity needs to work together, men, women, races, to build a society that we can all prosper in, and we can all be happy in. And without proper knowledge of what we are, and the Damore memo helps us get that way, we're going to be in trouble. Yeah, right, okay, then I've just had the time signal. But the lefties believe everybody's equal, blacks are equal to whites, men are equal to women, Islam is equal to Christianity. No. The Aztecs used to rip the hearts out of 20,000 human sacrifice victims in one day and roll the bodies down their pyramids. I would not respect that religion. Yeah. And Muhammad, Jesus Christ, broadly speaking, was a bloody hippie. Right? Love thy neighbour. Whoa, let's be cool, man. Let's be chilled out. Well, Muhammad,
you're funny, you
he was a rapist. He was a child abuser, he was a slave, a wife-beating, torturing, lying, mass murdering terrorist.
Yes! And these Muslims fucking look up to him. Wow.
And that's why we've got Muslim rape gangs in over 80 towns in this country. Not reported by the national press, because news is reporting the unusual. It is not unusual for Muslim gangs to rape our women, and it needs to stop now!
Yes! He's good in.
Dame Louisa Casey stated that political correctness was allowing terrorism to flourish. Terrorism is up 30%. Violent crime is surging. We now apparently have 47,000 terrorist people of interest to the police.
Wow.
47,000 terrorists in this country.
Fucking
One weekend and they're in power. The churches refuse even to commentate on who is killing Christians across the world. And all I can say is this country needs a complete draining of the swamp.
Yes.
The swamp is very wide, very deep, and we're going to have to do a lot of bailing.
Start with Tony Blair.
I'm just going to go just a few, please, minute more.
We expected it.
We repeal the hate law speeches. We give Britain a complete freedom of speech. We allow firearms. We close the borders. We get out of Europe.
Yeah.
However, I personally want to invite the Republic of Ireland to join a British free trade zone. I think it will help the Northern Ireland. It might be an issue, but it's still got to go on. I want grammar schools. I want to reduce the percentage of our kids going to university and spending 50,000 quid on a shit degree that they don't need.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just as many private people out there. Most of all, we need to build a navy because we're going to have to keep this country safe. God save the Queen!
Yeah! Go on, John. What on that, mate? Our Banksy is the man.